group therapy can be so powerful, such a powerful therapeutic force for people, because they'll have a chance to interact with others in similar situations, maybe in similar lifestyles and life circumstances, where they can identify with other people who they come to respect and think well of, who've developed the problem themselves, and ideally have been making some headway on this problem. This is among the most powerful therapeutic forces and ingredients involved in group therapy, is the ability to overcome shame and guilt by identifying with other people who you can identify with and who you see as like-minded, who've developed the same problem. Major differences between AA meetings and group therapy sessions is that in AA meetings there's no crosstalk allowed, which means that if somebody shares something in an AA meeting, nobody is permitted to respond by giving advice or feedback to that person. All they say is thank you for sharing. They can say, listen, I really relate to what you just said. It's very similar to something I've experienced. They can identify with what's just been talked about, but they cannot give feedback to the person. So there's no crosstalk allowed in AA. In group therapy, it's just the opposite. Crosstalk is encouraged, not in terms of advice giving, but giving feedback. It's what we call holding up the mirror to other members of the group, so that a person will share something about their personal experience. Another group member will either identify with it and say, it's, I can resonate with that because I've gone through something very similar or related to that, but they can also hold up a mirror to that person and say, Jim, I've heard you say this before and you've struggled with this same issue a few months ago, and here it is cropping up again, and the way you're coming across is if you're surprised as if this happened again, when I can remember distinctly when you talked about it last time. What do you think about that? That's holding up a mirror to somebody. That's giving them feedback. It's not giving advice, but it's literally reflecting back something you've heard from the person before. It can take another form of, you just talked about something in this meeting, Nancy, that's very painful, and I feel for you, but you said it with a smile on your face. What do you think that's about? That's very valuable feedback to give somebody. That's holding up a mirror to somebody. And you won't get that. You can't get that in an AA meeting, but that's what you can get in group therapy. So if I led that group meeting and I heard this interaction go on, I would want to follow up with the person in a one-on-one session. So Nancy, what do you think about the fact that you were smiling while you were telling us something so painful? And Nancy would get to the point of, well, I guess that's one of my ways of coping with it. I try to find the humor in it. I'm afraid to show my sadness. I'm afraid to cry. If I wasn't smiling, I'd be crying. Becomes grist for the mill. So that's the interplay between group and individual therapy. If I'm both the group leader and their individual therapist, I hear and see things in group that I can follow up with them on in individual, and vice versa. I can hear something in an individual session and say to the patient, would you be willing to share that with the group at the next meeting? Because I think you'll probably get a more three-dimensional view of this issue if you do that, beyond what I've been able to help you process. And that can be very powerful.